The backpack reduces the weight of whatever you put inside, and gets a nice little tag to match your color. The backpack itself weighs 100 blocks when it's empty, and the weight of the backpack doesn't change until you add more than 100 blocks of stuff inside of it. It's best used to carry supplies one weight level above your desired weight, and then dropping it whenever you expect to get into a fight. You can auto-pack items and your gear into the backpack by equipping your backpack, looking at the little menu, and then just walking around and picking stuff up. The ladder is a great tool for getting vertical when you need to. It looks small here, but folds up well. Really well. It has a set of mounting hooks for placing the ladder on a surface above you. To climb it, you have to get close and hit use on the ladder. When you see this text up here at the top, you're safe to start climbing. If you don't see this, and you try to start climbing, if you have issues climbing over and on top of the ledge, just turn a little to the side and climb up sideways. To pick it up and take it with you, attach yourself to the ladder, then crouch. Once you're crouched on the ladder, press the jump key and it rolls right up. Grenade traps work well enough, but what if you want a smarter option for remote explosions? IED kits are your answer. Easily assembled from one kit and one live or dud rocket grenade. Both of them work. Active mode sets the trap to proximity trigger, detonating when enemies get close. Passive mode lets you leave the mines on standby until you detonate them yourself, or switch them to active mode when you want and let the mines do their thing. The ID tag system allows you to arm or detonate mines grouped by ID number, and you can make some extremely impressive and intricate traps once you take the time to learn how it works. Doorbusters are a great tool for breaking through doors, ledges, bars, and other similar moving sectors without needing a heavy weapon. Sectors are easiest to break at their thinnest point. Some walls or doors may actually be too thick to break, or may have special properties preventing them from being destroyed. To use them, walk up to a surface you want to blow up. Set the doorbuster on it, then open up the console once you've gotten to a safe distance, and type DB space 999 to blow them up. The Defense Engagement Reconnaissance Patrol Robot is a pistol on treads with a pinch of programming. Equip it, make sure the magazine's loaded, then toss it out. It's got 3 sets of smart behavior and manual controls if you want them. Turret mode sits still and shoots anything that comes in its range. Ambush sits still and doesn't react to enemies till you change its mode. Patrol shoots enemies as the DERP moves around and sometimes goes in the direction you want it to. Manual controls have their own tricks, and a camera you can remotely see through. The control unit has a limited range, and you can't drive upstairs or any other vertical height change. The Heavy Engagement Rotary Platform is a stationary chain gun defense unit. Setting up a herp is just loading up a shaved-down Vulcanet and placing it in position. Its battery pack and 3 magazines of 4mm can hold a zone of fire for a satisfying and reliable amount of time. They can be remotely controlled or crudely fired from the user's hands if you get that desperate. Listen for the sound that both the DERP and the herp make. If you hear it and you know you didn't drop one, that is a hostile robot, and it will fuck you up. Both the DERP and the herp units can be repaired if they get broken. Take out all the ammunition and batteries, and you can tinker them back into working order. The LITE amp goggles had most of their fancy tech stripped out and replaced with older night vision technology. I'll miss the super cool stuff, but this new tech still gets the job done. You won't need to crank your NVGs up very far either, for most maps, and they won't work that well in total darkness either. You can change the color of the lens in the HD options menu. So this item doesn't tell you the controls, so I will. Hold your use key and then press your activate item key to increase the brightness. To decrease it, hold zoom and use, then activate the item. You'll see the number next to the light amp goggles on your HUD go up and down. Higher is brighter, lower is darker. The standalone 7mm converter is exactly what it sounds like. Taking a handful of loose 4mm rounds and a single 7mm casing to make a fresh 7.76 round. Since the Liberator comes with one of these built in the stock of the gun, these standalone converters are used when you pack a boss rifle, or one converter just isn't enough. The rad suit performs close to its vanilla counterpart. It has an unlimited protection duration, and instead, you have to worry about it being punctured or torn by damage, which often leaves you unable to flee and quickly melting. It provides a small resistance to fire and an incredible resistance to lightning, acting as a powerful tool for fighting cacodemons. When the latter won't cut it, or if you want to physics check into the ground or the wall as hard as you possibly can, you have a jetpack. The controls are super simple, and it takes a battery as fuel. The effectiveness and controllability of the jetpack is absolutely tied to how much weight you're carrying. Don't put too much faith in the last 20% of your battery, unless you are very light. The chainsaw works fine in combat. Being a melee weapon means that it bypasses shields. But its utilitarian functions are where it shines for most of its use. Corpse and frag control is the strongest suit the chainsaw has. Corpses can be chopped up into piles of gore, and that's a good thing. Gore piles have to be put back together by revive or loose frag in the air before they can be revived into a functional monster again. The saw can also be used to cut open smaller doors and bars. The time it takes isn't always consistent, but the battery lasts quite a while. Berserk combat trauma kits are a great way to give yourself...
Hey Knox, you stupid asshole. Isn't this considered medical equipment? It heals you really well, right?
Most often you're gonna come out of Zerk worse than when you inject. And that's before the gigantic crash after a few minutes of redlining your heart within an inch of death. That's why it's not with the medical equipment. Your healing rate is supercharged. Your sprint speed and jump distance are jacked through the roof, and your strength for carrying weight and managing recoil is crazy high. You will feel invincible, and damn, it's fun. And you recover from damage so fast that you might not recognize that you've taken a frightening amount of lethal damage, and that you're gonna bleed to death. If you don't have yourself stapled closed before you come down from the high, you won't have the strength to once the crash hits. It also affects your personality. Swearing, screaming, and hurling your weapon away just to get your fucking hands on their necks and crush their skull, rip their limbs from their body,
bathe in their blood and let it set